Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be talking about the 10 books that I want to read this fall. There's a lot more on my radar, but these are my top priority books that I want to get to before winter starts. So yeah, let's get into this video. When I think of the fall season, I think back to school, I think football, I think sports. So the first book that I picked up to read this fall is The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. This book has been on my TBR for probably almost 3 years. I need to get to this one. And I've also read When in Rome by Sarah Adams, and I really like that one, so I feel like I would like this. So this book is about Bree, and Bree is in love with her best friend, who is also an NFL player. And one night she drunkenly confesses to a TMZ reporter that she's in love with him. So now his publicist decides that they're gonna fake date and be so obsessed with each other for a certain amount of time. And obviously we love a fake dating trope, and come on, they're gonna fall in love. I just know they're gonna fall in love. And I love a fast-paced, cute, kind of cringy rom-com romance. I eat that up, and I know that I'm gonna love this. I know I'm gonna eat this one up. Next is a book that was one of my most anticipated reads this year. Don't know why I haven't gotten to it. This book came out in February. It's October. This is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. When I found out that Ali Hazelwood was coming out with a vampire werewolf romance, I was so pumped, because that is Ali Hazelwood's roots. That's where she started writing, is writing fan fiction on the internet about werewolves and vampires. So I was so excited. Essentially, this book is about a marriage of convenience between a werewolf and a vampire, and they're both doing it for their own separate reasons, not just because their families want to have this alliance between the two of the creatures, but it's more deep than that, I believe. And I'm excited because I've heard so many things about this. What is this knot thing? I have been wanting to know for so long what is up with the knots, and this might be the first one I pick up because I've been waiting to read this for so long. The next book is a second in a series that I've already started this year, and that is The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. The first book is The Inheritance Games, and this book just screams cozy mystery to me. It's giving Knives Out, and I am just very intrigued to finish the story. Essentially, in the first book, in The Inheritance Games, Avery receives a letter that she is to inherit this billionaire's fortune. And no one knows why, because she's never met this family, she's never met the billionaire, and when she moves into the manor, she does a bunch of puzzles and riddles to solve why she's going to inherit the billions. And it's very intriguing, and there's more to it than just that, and it kind of continues with this next book, and I really just want to see where the series goes. I've heard very great things about this, and as well as her other series, so I want to continue this one this fall. This book that I picked up is a book that I recently got at Barnes & Noble when I went fall book shopping, and this is called Happy Medium by Sarah Alder. This book seems so fun to me because it's about a woman who is pretending to be a spirit medium, and she ends up having to help this grumpy farmer save his farm and kind of the town, essentially, because there's actually a ghost, and for once she can see him, and she has to convince this farmer to not sell his farm before all havoc breaks loose. And I love cheesy fall themed books like this, so I think this one's gonna be a lot of fun. The next book is also one that I picked up in that Barnes & Noble book haul. It's called How to Make a Horror Movie and Survive. This is by Craig DeLuey. I am really intrigued by this because last year I picked up the horror genre, which I have never really read before, but it was more satire horror. If you know Grady Hendrix, I read How to Sell a Haunted House last year, and I really enjoyed it. I want to read more of his books, but I love Scream. I love that whole franchise, and that's kind of the horror that I like. So that's kind of what this book is giving a bit. It's about Max, and he is a horror film, a famous horror film director, but his producer doesn't want to fund any of his projects. And then there's Sally, who is determined, she is destined to be a final girl in her brain. So the two of them kind of join forces when Max finds a old retro camera that actually filmed a real life horror. And as they're filming their own movie, they figure out that this camera is more sinister than they thought. And, Sally's actually going to be a final girl. This next book was on my fall TBR last year, and I recently read one of her books this year and gave it a 5-star, and that is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I love The 7-Year Slip, and I've heard good things about this one as well, so I'm hoping I find another 5-star read by her. So essentially it is about a woman who is a ghostwriter, and she has a really bad breakup, so she doesn't believe in love anymore. One day she gets a phone call from her hometown. It's some shocking news. She has to go back and deal with the people of her past, and she's like ready to get rid of that town for good. But when she leaves, she ends up seeing a really hot ghost. And that's basically the premise. And I'm like, sign me up. I'm intrigued, Ashley. I'm intrigued. The next book is also a book that's been on like my TBR for years, and that is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I feel like I'm the only person who has not read this book. So essentially this is about a murder that happened in a small town. A high school senior was killed by her boyfriend, and Pip decides when she's a senior that she's going to do her senior project on this case. This case has been long closed, but she decides to kind of go back into it because it still haunts her town, and that's where she discovers some deeper, darker secrets, and maybe the killer is not really who they say it is. So this is really intriguing. I love a cozy like murder mystery for the fall, and I need to read this. I need to watch the show and compare it to the book. So I definitely like, this is going to be read this year. Mark my words, it will be read this year. The next book is another witchy themed book for the season. It's called What You Gonna Do by Avery Flynn. This book is about a girl who curses her entire family, and the only way to reverse the curse is to team up with her hot nemesis, because he is the only one that possesses the power to reverse what she's done. And I love an enemies to lovers romance, and if you're gonna put in like witches with it, that just sounds so fun, so cute, and I'm excited to read this in the next couple weeks. The next book intrigues me so much, and that is Butcher and Blackbird by, is it Brynne Weaver? This book is about 2 serial killers who fall in love. And I have never read anything like this. I've never really watched or heard anything like this. So the whole premise of this sounds so good, and I can't wait to read this. So the last book that I picked up was a book that I saw when I went into Barnes. First of all, so beautiful, the book itself. Then I read the synopsis and I was like, this is really intriguing because it's different than a lot of things I've read. It's kind of the first description that I've read from a book that's really excited me in a super long time. And then I didn't get it because I was like, I already got 2 books. I don't need a hardcover. And then I went to Target and I saw it there and I was like, this is a sign. I'm picking up this book. And this is called Immortal Dark by Tegest Girma. I am so sorry if I said that wrong. I'm not sure how to say it. This book is so beautiful. Look at the side of this. It says no soul can enter without an invitation. And then first of all, like opening it up as well. Let me pull it out. The inside cover and the backside cover is so cool. I don't know. This book is just so beautiful to me. And then of course the front looks like this. And it says, seek mind above blood, and if you must bleed, use it as ink. I haven't got a book so pretty and so long. And then the synopsis of this book is actually insane. I'm going to read it off my phone because this one is a very hard one to memorize. So what I came up with for this book is, it is an orphaned heiress named Kaiden. She's convinced a vampire stole her sister, and that specific vampire is one that is bound to her family. And to find her sister, Kaiden must go to Uxley University and live with, I don't know how to say his name. I'm gonna put it up on the screen, and if someone knows how to say it like correctly, let me know, because what I'm saying is Susanos. I'm probably wrong. But he's the vampire that she thinks stole her sister. And so he decides to do everything in his power to drive her away. But then a murder occurs that mirrors her sister's disappearance, and it sends Kaiden deeper into the underworld of vampires to find her sister. This book just sounds so good, and it's going back to my roots because I loved like anything vampires when I was like a preteen, I would say. And I don't know, it just sounds so good. I think it's her debut novel, and again, beautiful, beautiful cover, and just another reason why I had to pick it up. It's so intriguing to me, and I might honestly read this next. I don't know. Those were my top 10 books I want to read this fall. I'm so excited for each and every one of them. And if you want to see me read any of these in an upcoming vlog, please comment below. Also comment what you plan on reading this fall. I'm so excited. Cozy up in bed, light a candle, have a pumpkin chai, and just read a good book. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in my next one.